Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here on this Taco Tuesday, and I hope all your taco dreams are going to come true. For once, I am not actually on the road. I'm going to make sure I make me some great tacos today. I got to have some tacos. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to be focused on. The Cowboys, working in the workshop, and Taco Tuesday, making sure we make it a great day. So, here we are. It is Tuesday, and the Dallas Cowboys, of course, this is the day that typically they bring in players to evaluate, to try out guys, to see, kick the tires and see if there's guys out there that can help our team. I'm going to put this in the Cam Newton category. This morning, there was an interesting article I saw that said Cowboys executive hints at Richard Sherman. Remember when they said the Cowboys were going to do all due diligence when it comes to Cam Newton? And that all of a sudden started a whole firestorm of people saying, oh, my God, the Cowboys are interested in Cam Newton. We're going to get Cam Newton. No, here's what happens. And I want you to understand this because this is how it goes. I don't want to say that it's clickbait, but it's really kind of Captain Obvious because they do due diligence on everybody. Think about what Stephen Jones says. Stephen Jones says player acquisition is a 365-day-a-year job. And you always want to evaluate people that can help you. That, by definition, is doing your due diligence in looking at them. And basically, that's exactly what Stephen Jones said. He was asked, well, anything on signing Richard Sherman? Is Richard Sherman? And of course, he says, well, we always do player evaluations and our due diligence and things like that. You're not going to go out there and say, you know what, we want to sign Richard Sherman. You're not, even if you wanted to. Negotiations, the best ones are done at when people think you don't want them. Now, as far as Richard Sherman goes, his arrest for domestic violence, that part was dropped. He pled guilty to 5 misdemeanors, and that's done. That's a wash. That's not like Deshaun Watson, who's still dealing with all kinds of legal issues. And we're hearing that a couple of teams may be interested, including Tampa Bay, in signing him. So there may actually be a bidding war. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say that we're good and don't need help at cornerback because we do. Anthony Brown thus far has let us down. But the thing about Anthony Brown is it seems like he's kind of a streaky player. I think back to his rookie year, the first half of the season, he wasn't very good. The second half, it seemed like he got it and ended up being one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. It's possible that he's going to go through one of those streaks again. I can't say whether or not, but I don't know if we can afford to wait on that at the present time. Kevin Joseph, of course, has still got the groin issue. He's on IR. Nashawn Wright, I'm not sure he's quite ready yet either. So we'll see what the Cowboys do. But here's where it gets interesting. If you believe your team is close to being one of the top teams and making that deep run in the playoffs, then you possibly make a trade for help to take care of a weak spot. If you believe you're one of those teams that, the season's already over and it's week 2 because we're just terrible, then you're jettisoning those players and trying to get what you can to start the building process sooner than later. I believe we're on the side of maybe a couple of players away from selling all in, putting all the chips in to try and make that run. So it is conceivable before the trade deadline that the Cowboys look at trying to do something. I don't think they will because that's not their style anymore. because they've been burned so many times, but you never know. Right now, Jerry Jones, after the victory with the Chargers and looking at the schedule, may look at this and say, this might be the chance for me to go all in right here. We'll have to wait and see on that. But speaking of Jerry Jones, Jerry Jones is always good for, a great quote. Last week it was, the chances of Randy Gregory playing were about as big as a gnat's ass. I didn't know gnats had asses. Of course, we've always heard the famous.
I think that's a part of leadership, is to have some of the guys that have gone before that have been disappointed to share it with everybody involved. For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so having said that, I want me some glory hole. So I have that perspective.
He wants some glory hole days. Now, this morning, just a few minutes ago on 105 The Fan, he was talking about Micah Parsons. And as far as the draft went, everybody, of course, the mock drafts had us taking Kyle Pitts. The Cowboys will do whatever to get Kyle Pitts. In the same way they said we were going to do whatever it takes to get Johnny Manziel. And it's funny that every year we always go through all of these same things, just like the tank for Tua. You got to tank for Tua, and Tua, of course, can't stay healthy. And then there's the Joe Burrow. You got to get Joe Burrow and all that. And this year, of course, it's the Trevor Lawrence. We'll see how all this works out for him, but more times than not, it's a whole lot of hype that doesn't really come to fruition. But Jerry Jones said, we thought Micah Parsons was the best defensive player in the draft, and that's why we didn't cut our throat when we didn't get our corner. Plain and simple. He was our highest grade defender, and unlike when it was Morris Claiborne, they moved up to try and get him, and turned out they were wrong. They were right so far. It's still early, but you see that Micah Parsons is that guy, as Dan Quinn says, likes to run and hit. He's got natural abilities at rushing the passer. He is a weapon. I don't know if he can be a Lawrence Taylor type of an impact for our team where he revolutionizes linebackers, but clearly you can see the gifts that he has just 2 games in, and he will be an impact player. And going back to the draft, the way I always look at a draft to figure out if it was success or not is, number one overarching thing is, you must get an immediate starter that's an impact player. Cowboys got that. They got that 2 years in a row, last year being CeeDee Lamb. The second thing you have to get is a starter. Third, you got to get depth. And fourth, get a special team stand-up. We definitely have the impact player right there. We'll see how the other parts work out as we go forward. Wouldn't be surprised to see Boss Man Fat by the middle of the season become a starter, or even Jabril Cox. We'll see on that standpoint, but definitely got the depth to help this team, as well as special team standouts. So far in my mind, this draft is looking good. Another interesting point of contention now is the controversy of Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. Should Tony Pollard be the starter or Zeke the backup? I'm happy that we actually have this kind of a problem, that we're actually trying to decide which 2 of these great backs are we going to have starting. Because here's the thing that's kind of funny. We look at Tony Pollard's yards per carry, which were great. I say that a lot of it's situational, where the teams aren't loading up the boxes. If he becomes the running back and the featured back, he's going to be facing those 8-man fronts. The other part of this equation is Zeke Elliott. If Zeke Elliott is in that Tampa Bay game, blocking his ass off, saving his buddy's ass, our quarterback gets planted. He's a Carson Wentz. He's injured. Both of these guys, you have to understand, Tony Pollard has had 3 100-yard games. Both of these guys, you need both of them. And I believe this was a question on Cowboy Stats on Twitter this morning. He said that the Dallas Cowboys are basically faster than anybody else right now doing plays, snapping the ball between plays, that they're going so fast, and he doesn't understand why. And this would be my take on this. The reason why is the Cowboys look at it like this. Right now, believe it or not, the Cowboys have more depth on defense than they've had. The fact that we can have Donovan Wilson go out and we have Curse that's there. The fact that we end up having now Demontre Kazee, back in there. The fact that we actually can withstand an injury or so. And as we start getting Randy Gregory and Gallimore in there, and the youth that we have, you can put wave after wave of players against that starting offense. We have so many linebackers because we still got Jabril Cox and things that's not playing. Okay, you get the Randy Gregory back. You end up getting D-Law back. You can basically have two units that you feel confident about going against those. So by the fourth quarter, you have now worn down the other team. That tackle, he's playing every play. If you got a defensive end that's rotating, he's going to be fresher. And come the fourth quarter is when you'll see the Cowboys be able to take over. And the same thing with splitting time with the running backs. After a while of getting pounded on up the middle with Zeke Elliott, now all of a sudden we got to go chase him outside. You start getting guys cramping up. You can't take the pounding and then go to sprinting. It just doesn't work. And this is my thought of what the Cowboys are trying to use as their advantage. We are just going to out-physical and outrun them and outlast them. We'll see if that's the case. But that would be what I would take and use, especially when you go get some of these other teams or other teams that don't have the depth. But I do want to go to one last thing before I get out of here, and that is Dan Orlovsky.
And skew them any way we want. We often can take numbers and we'll fit them into the narrative that we want to try and paint. And I probably am guilty of this. Can take numbers and skew them any way we want. We often can take numbers and we'll fit them into the narrative that we want to try and paint.
Dan Orlovsky, Cowboy hater. I mean, there's so many. I can't say number one because you got Stephen A. Smith and, of course, Shannon. Okay, he's just in the line with all the rest of them. But let's listen to this morning.
One up. Dallas is up by 3. The Chargers in the red zone. Dan, Justin Herbert dropping back.
Yeah, he's trying to find somebody's second goal. Micah Parsons' closing speed on this play is absolutely outrageous. Now, they call him in the grasp, and it's a sack. This is an absolutely atrocious call by the officiating crew. Herbert is still trying to get away from Micah Parsons, hand on his helmet, just trying to make a football play. That is not a sack. Should have been 3rd and goal from the 4.
Chargers end up kicking a field goal to tie the game. Ensuing Cowboys possession, Dak finds Zeke.
That's really a good job by Zeke getting underneath Joey Bosa and getting out into the pass catch.
The drive stays alive. Later in the drive, minute 28 left, 3rd and 1. Elliott taking the handoff through the middle, powering his way up for the first down.
Big
Marcus
run, and then
Spears now stood up.
Yeah, and then they gave it to Pollard, trying to let this clock wind down for Greg the Leg to come in.
And Greg the Leg would be attempting a 56-yard game-winning field goal. The kick is good. Cowboys win it 20-17.
All right, Marcus.
As we said, Marcus Spears, during that highlight, decided to celebrate a little bit.
Somebody say the Cowboys?
We're talking about the Cowboys now. Are you back on the show? Where have you been?
We just went through a highlight with the Cowboys?
Yes. Where were you?
With a W?
Okay. Sit down.
I'll do my job today then. I'll do my job.
Yeah, okay.
Celebrate game
How'd you
winners.
feel watching that one?
I
can't
listen,
tell.
You're
it's
brutal,
still here,
bro. You're brutal.
It's still here. This is why they hate us so much. I don't care.
Us.
How'd I feel?
You work for ESPN.
I work for me.
Oh,
I work for me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I do work for ESPN.
Direct to camera.
Let me say this. Is this my turn?
It's your turn. I've been trying to tee
The
you
floor
up.
is yours.
You can't even control yourself.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy, okay? Listen, I'm so happy that we won this one. And last week, I thought we played well enough outside of a couple plays to win against Tampa Bay. But let me go where I want to go. This offensive line, which was much maligned last year. Like, we all know what happened. And with Lyle Collins being out, I talked about that. They were able to run the football against a too-high safety shell, and they were able to do it over and over and over again. And this offensive line with Zach Martin being back and these guys pushing this defensive line around. Here's the thing that what makes me feel so good about this game.
Go ahead, speak it.
Dallas can play two ways. That's what this game told me. They can play two ways. I don't think it's great to throw 50 times, but they've shown they can do it. And now you get a game where you can run the rock and you have success too. I'm so happy.
There you go.
First of
Hater
all,
time.
Can you stop
You talking
saying
about the
we?
Cowboys?
I'm looking at the roster.
You talking about the
Your
Cowboys?
name ain't on the roster, bro.
Mina's
He
going
actually
right now.
wrote it in
Yeah.
himself.
Well, see, the problem is he would have to have like 14 teams. So,
Oh, wow.
go ahead, man. I'm
low
sorry.
for
It's
right
week
now.
2.
Yeah.
Okay. I love this Cowboys offense. I love I love watching them, and I love that they win, as Marcus said, they win in different ways, right? Like, you're going up against a Tampa Bay defense that is unbelievable against the run, so you don't run. You have a quick passing game to mitigate pressure. And, yeah, you do throw it a lot because it's what's effective.
Talk to
in
him,
this
MK.
game, you're playing a Chargers defense that's giving you those light boxes. Pound the rock. By all means, people think I'm against running the ball. I'm not against running the ball. I'm against slamming into a brick wall. But if a defense is going to give you the run with those two high shells,
Yes.
by all means. Actually, 21 of the Cowboys' 31 carries were into light boxes, and they averaged over 6 yards a carry. So I love that.
That's
I
it.
love that. And here's what else I loved about the run game. Tony Pollard carries starting to inch up, being used creative ways, jet sweeps as a pass catcher, because, guys, Tony Pollard has been good. He has been as effective, arguably more effective in certain instances than Ezekiel Elliott, despite making a fraction of the salary. So love to see him getting more run. Love to see all of this from the Cowboys offense. I am here for it.
You kind of, she kind of snuck that little point about Pollard and Zeke back in there. Dan, the Cowboys, though, did have a tough assignment with Justin Herbert on the other side. How'd they handle that?
They sure did. How did they do
All
that?
right, so there's some things in this world I hate. Morning breath, I think it's gross.
Ew. Brush your
Technology, I like to write things down. Board snacking. And giving praise to Marcus Spears. All this dang offseason, all this man said was, Dan Quinn's going to make this defense better. And I was like, no, they're not. And yesterday, Dan Quinn made this defense better because they fooled Justin Herbert a couple of times pre-snap. Now, the back is out top in motion. He's matched by a safety. That tells the quarterback right now, man coverage. 3rd and 4 in field goal range. He communicates. Bottom of the screen, we're going to go quick route to the back out of the backfield. Well, Dan Quinn is going to drop zone defenders out. Eyes on the back, rally, tackle. Showed your man, dropped out and played zone. That now becomes 3rd and 4 into a field goal. Down in the red zone, took off points off the board. Now, up top, I'm showing pressure off the left side of the offense. Herbert's like, wait, stand up defensive end to my right.
It's coming, guys.
Left.
It's
Sends
coming.
the whole offensive line that way. Free releases the back to the bottom of the screen. I got a 4-man concept. Psych, the pressure doesn't come. They drop out. That defensive end is now unblocked. 2nd and 9, got to get the ball out because the change in protection becomes 3rd and 11. You know, Dan Quinn fooled them a little bit early on. And the best way that I can say it is, I don't want to throw up as I say.
Here we go. Here it comes.
The Cowboys are a better team than I thought they would be.
Oh.
You need to calm
But they're a better team. I thought they'd be a good offense.
Hey. So the one thing
Love
is you
They're a
can
better
do
team.
celebration dances over there.
Let's be honest.
But
They're
the
a
one
better
thing
team.
is, guys, when you're on the show with somebody and you're on the show with people like every single day of the week, we remember what happened. So Mina and I were with you on Friday. Just want to remind you guys that Marcus Spears picked the Chargers.
What is this, a praise Marcus segment?
No, I'm saying he picked the team
the
that
Chargers.
lost.
Oh.
Well, I mean, research told me to pick them.
Oh,
No.
research.
No, research.
All right. But I hope you enjoyed Dan Orlovsky kind of eating a little bit of crow there, realizing that, hey, maybe the Dallas Cowboys team is a little bit better than we thought. They are definitely more physical than what they were last year. They are definitely going after the opposition, and they are definitely getting a whole lot more takeaways than they did last year. This bodes well for the team. I'm not saying that we are a great team yet. I'm not saying that, punch your playoff tickets or anything like that. Thus far, in a week-to-week league, they've actually put together 2 back-to-back games and could have been 2-0. And that's a hell of a lot better than starting off 0-2. So with that being said, you know how we roll. It's time for us to go on to our day job. I got work to do in the workshop, but as always, I appreciate you. Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
I get to say it.